WCNews.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
The following program is paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
The topics, views, and opinions expressed on the air and via All Igniting Change with Barbara Arnwine, platforms by host Barbara Arnwine Esquire, guests, and supporters are their own and are independent of any organization, entity. Nothing said on the show or any of its platforms constitutes a client-attorney relationship or serves as legal advice counsel. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to Igniting Change, its platforms, or the show's host. It's time now for Igniting Change, a weekly provocative and empowering program where you, the listener, can ignite change. Now here's your host, Barbara Arnwine.
Get up, stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Igniting Change. Oh, yes, we have a great show for you today. We want to start off by letting you know we're going to be talking about saving lives again. Yes, the title of our show is Unbreakable. We impact the questionable American health care policy in America's future. We're going to be talking about National Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. You may be saying, what in the world is pancreatic cancer? You're going to find out today. You're going to find out how to recognize it. You're going to find out why it is so important, so critical that we focus on that. But before we get to our show, I want to bring up my mighty co-host. You know that he was on the road with TJC as our co-leader. We were on that road for 12 days doing all kinds of GOTV, get out the vote, in mighty New Jersey. And we are so proud of voters all over the country for what they've done. So I want to bring up the chair of the board of the Transformative Justice Coalition, one of the nation's most mighty, amazing attorneys. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about my co-host, Daryl Jones. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Barbara, it must be Tuesday. It must be noon Eastern Standard Time because we're talking about igniting change. My goodness, Barbara, you were right on the mark when you were talking about New Jersey and Virginia and the elections that went on. Not only did we go to New Jersey to work to turn voters out, but we turned them out in incredible numbers. One of the things I was most proud of in New Jersey, Barbara, was that there was a 7% increase in voters between the ages of 18 and 29. A 7% increase. And black voters were turning out in numbers all through New Jersey. So very excited about what happened with the voter turnout there in New Jersey. But, Barbara, I would be remiss, and we would be remiss if we did not wish our veterans today a very happy Veterans Day. You know, we want to thank all of our vets that have served and that we might live in a free country today. We're so appreciative of the efforts and all the sacrifices that our veterans have made for this country and for our country's freedom and our democracy, Barbara.
Absolutely. And let me be very clear, everybody. What we did in New Jersey was that we took our John Lewis Good Trouble vote bus all around. We went to 11 of the 21 counties in New Jersey. We went to 18 townships. And what I want to really point out is that we had our Freedoms Riders with us. And I want to just give them every bit of gratitude because they were the ones who, when we were at Rutgers, that jumped off the bus and jumped out into crowds of hundreds and thousands and just was talking constantly about voting and driving people to the polls. They were the ones who helped the seniors. They were the ones who did all this work. So our continual immense gratitude to those 8 amazing Freedom Riders because you help to change the day. Don't let anybody ever tell you our young people aren't out there doing what they need to do. And on this issue of veterans, I want to give a shout out to black veterans. I'm so angry this morning. I'm angry that the United States is globally running around tearing down monuments, plaques, and tributes to black veterans who helped to save lives in World War II, especially, and that they are doing this so much so that the Dutch officials in the town of Limburg, where they took down a tribute, the U.S. took down a tribute to George Pruitt, who sacrificed to make sure that we would win in World War II. They have actually filed a complaint, an official complaint with the U.S. government demanding that they restore the tribute. This is evil, people. You can't erase good history. Black people, black men and women died. They gave their blood. They were injured. They fought valorously. They did all kinds of amazing accomplishments to make sure that we won in so many wars. We deserve our honors. We deserve to be recognized. This evil, bigoted, racist actions by our administration is absolutely repulsive and needs to be stopped. So, Congress, if you won't take action, we the people must. And we must teach our history. Don't allow them to try to whitenize all of American history and to deny the amazing accomplishments of black veterans. With that said, Daryl, because you know I can roll, and there's so much to be said today, we want to absolutely, at the top of this show, again, give our love out to every single person who stood in line, who got up, who voted, who did their mail-in ballots, who did whatever was necessary, who drove people to the polls, who did everything to make sure that last Tuesday was a momentous day. 42 Muslim Americans won elections. Think about that, Daryl. Think about, what the turnout looked all over the country with 2-hour lines in California, even after the polls had closed, people making sure that their vote was cast and counted. This is what democracy demands of all of us. So we are so proud of the American people. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So, Daryl, I want to thank you. And I want to thank Dr. Deidre Roach, and I want to thank so many others who put together today's show. It is a marvelous, amazing show where we're going to really be talking about the challenges that confront Americans right now with getting the health care that they need, especially those during this National Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, those who are facing pancreatic cancer. So I'm going to leave it to you because you did so much of the groundwork on this show to bring our show up.
Thank you, Barbara. And you're absolutely right. When we talk about the elections that went on across the country, the one thing that Americans were saying is that they wanted a change, and they were realizing the challenges that have been put in front of them, and they want to be certain that they are equipped to deal with those challenges that are put in front of them. And one of the major things we have going on right now, as we speak, is the whole thing with regards to the government shutdown and what it will mean to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and medical coverage and medical availability that are being placed in the way for Americans. Will we have the ability to afford medical care, those that are middle class and below? Will we have the ability to have that care? Well, one of the things we certainly wanted to do today is that we are very fortunate to bring on to the show someone who's had the opportunity to face down pancreatic cancer, to deal with it squarely, and to win that battle. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to start this show off as this is November Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month with Dr. Richard Larry Dotson. Dr. Dotson is an ophthalmologist from Washington, D.C. And let me tell you, as an ophthalmologist. He is a medical doctor who diagnoses and treats severe, complex eye and vision problems. Deals from cataracts to glaucoma to detached retinas. Just an outstanding physician. He received his undergraduate degree and his medical degrees from the University of Maryland at College Park, the University of Maryland Medical School. He's been self-employed at the Metropolitan Eye Care Center Associates in Maryland. Has been there for, some 45 years or so, practicing as an ophthalmologist. Let me tell you, folks, and let me just be clear, he has been self-employed in that practice. He's currently semi-retired from his practice, and following Dr. Dotson's successful triumph over pancreatic cancer, he became an author, writing about his cancer journey in the book Unbroken, A Survivor's Guide to Beating Cancer. Igniting Change audience, give it up and let's welcome Dr. Richard Larry Dotson to the show. Dr. Dotson, welcome to your maiden voyage on Igniting Change.
What an introduction, Daryl. What an introduction. Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be with you and to be with Robin. And again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans who've made sacrifices over the years for us and our freedom. We do not take that for granted. We are very grateful for the work that has been done, and especially by our black veterans who have really not gotten the kind of accomplishments or accolades that they deserve. So we give thanks to them for their sacrifices, their blood that was shed, and their lives that were shed in the wars of past and of current. So I'm very grateful to be on your program today. I've been a part of WL radio since I would say the late 80s, early 90s, Barbara and Daryl. I was on WOL with Kathy Hughes back in the 90s, with Joe Madison in the 90s, and I have been a proud member of WOL family for many years, and I'm glad to be back on the program today to talk about pancreatic health care awareness month, and that I had received that dreaded diagnosis 2 years ago. So I am here to share my good news, my fortune, my blessing that I have been given to be able to say I am cancer-free. And it's been a journey, but I wanted to write about the journey and share my journey with others in this book that I've written called Unbroken, A Survivor's Guide to Beating Cancer.
Now, Dr. Dotson, could you take us back to that moment? Because I heard you mention Joe Madison, the late great Joe Madison, who as you know, I consider just an icon with regards to most things in the political world. I know that he also was a patient of yours, but could you take us back to the moment of your pancreatic cancer diagnosis? Could you share with our audience the long and determined route that you had to take to just learn about the pancreatic cancer?
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a journey. It was a journey because it was a journey that I had never expected to have the outcome of getting this diagnosis, but it was 2 years ago when I was traveling throughout Spain on my vacation, when I wakened one morning with some discomfort in my abdomen that I just sort of put off to something that I had eaten the night before. Throughout my travels on vacation, the discomfort persisted. So once I returned home to Washington, I reached out to my doctor, my gastroenterologist, and shared with him, that I had this discomfort that was unusual. And I've been very healthy all my life. I've really taken good care of my health. I ate clean, or I would always eat clean. I exercise. I'm a big meditator, a big prayer, believer in Jesus Christ as my Savior and Lord. And so when I had this discomfort, some bells rang off like, well, what's going on? So my gastroenterologist did what's called an endoscopic procedure where he actually looked into my gastrointestinal tract to see if there was anything amiss. At the end of the procedure, he came to me and said, "Doc, everything looks good. I see a little inflammation in your stomach. I think you have a little gastritis. I'm going to give you some medicine